Hi everybody, welcome to our first webinar of 2018. I hope the new year is off to a great start for everyone. I'm Denise, your host for today's session. Olena is back and here to kick off our 2018 webinar series. And I will hand off to Olena in just a moment. It looks like we have a few folks still connecting. And well, since the weather has been more of a genuine topic lately, it's been kind of crazy. I'm in New Jersey, so snow is nothing new here, and today's is really pretty, which often means treacherous. So I'm happy to just stay put for a while, and I'll go ahead and get started with some very light housekeeping. Please know that everyone joins the webinar already muted. At the bottom of your control panel is where questions can be typed, and you can type them in at any time. During the Q&A portion, I will read your questions aloud in the order received. Also, as soon as the replay from today is available, I will follow up with our Encore email, which will include a link to the replay, all of today's questions and answers, and some other good stuff too. Finally, please keep in mind that our webinar demos typically highlight basic capabilities. Our team is always happy to provide demos for individual organizations where specific business needs and nuances can be better addressed. That is it for our housekeeping. So, Olena, if you are ready, I will hand over.
Here I am.
Great.
Hello, and thank you everyone for coming to today's webinar. I'm very excited about today's subject, and I think it will be a good example to demonstrate how individual process is perceived by different players, from end users to company executives, and benefits these players see in it. There is word compliance in our today's webinar title. And when one says compliance, there is often an unvoiced question in the air: how being compliant will affect my efficiency and how these two go along. I would like to briefly explain from what angle I will be talking today about compliance and how it is related to product change process, and how compliance objectives are interwoven into product change control workbench, you will see shortly. Compliance requirements come from different sources. These sources can be regulatory or internal, like laws, regulations, guidelines, or internal procedures. To measure and monitor compliance, its requirements are translated into compliance objectives. And having clearly set objectives, we can define specific rules for individual business processes and then monitor those rules if those rules have been adhered to. In today's webinar, we will not be talking about regulatory compliance, but rather internal compliance, a set of rules that lead to a greater transparency, availability of audit trails, and efficient interactions between multiple business processes. Rules that lead to improving overall company efficiency and instill confidence in its customers. I mentioned my excitement about today's webinar subject during the introduction, and the reason for it is seeing how the same process can be perceived by different players and different benefits these players can get from it. Top management might look at the product change process solely from the compliance and cost perspective. Middle management might be more interested in having compliance embedded into the process itself, having efficient tools to monitor it, and getting add-on values whenever possible. Process interconnections are another perspective to look from. Giving other departments efficient means to initiate and control their related processes is a valuable quality. And of course, end users need a simple and easy-to-use tool to complete their daily tasks in a quick and efficient manner. All this you will see in the Product Change Control Workbench. And I believe that once you will see it in action, you will not question what conjunction to put between compliance and efficiency when it comes to product change process. PCC Workbench that I will show in a moment is a simple but very powerful tool. First of all, it removes all the complexity and cumbersomeness from creation product change orders in QAD. If you've worked with it, you know. And it's without any customization and by using standard QAD functions that you all have by default. PCC Workbench has a PCO summary tab where you can see all product change orders, the approval status and implementation date. I will download data shortly, and the separate tabs for bill of materials, routing orders, and new items creation or changes to existing items. Let me go through a couple of different scenarios of product change to give you an idea how it works. Our first case will be replacing an existing component with the new one. There are a couple of things that we want to monitor here. While change might be initiated by engineering, finance might want to estimate and be prepared for the cost impact. Operations need to know when change will take effect and be prepared for it. And purchasing will need to put purchase order in place and make sure they will have replacement component in stock on time. Existing component that I will be replacing, I just pick one item, so it will be 88-4000. I can search for its exact code in QAD by the item code. And here are all matching values or item description. I can now download bill of materials that have, that's component. I can now download bill of materials that have all this component in them. Here are all BOMs that will be affected by my component change. I will need to deactivate this component, so I will put deactivate to yes, and introduce a new one with code 884001. Let me search for this code. I can type it in, but I find it searching quicker. In this scenario, my replacement component is already defined in QAD. So I should have done this instead. So these are the new lines that I will be replacing. And this is my new component. Of course, I don't want to deactivate them. I can now enter new quantities for replacement component, or if quantities are the same, I will leave them the way they are. I'll make some changes just to them. Can review the rest of the fields and make changes if necessary as well. And now list of my BOM changes is ready here. My BOM lines that need to be deactivated. Here are my new lines. Now I need to create product change order in QAD. Product change order will not take effect until it's approved and implemented. It means I can create it ahead of time before the change will need to take effect. I need to give my order, assign my order title, and let's see, put it component replacement, component 88-sound. That's just a pure text. It's useful when you then look at your orders and trying to figure out what it is about. And now I need to choose order type and group it belongs to. Depending on the type and group, order will get routed and will need to be approved by a different set of people. This setup is done in QAD in PCC setup menu. I'll just choose my type, so I can use lookup, and I will pick BOM adjustment type for this case. PCO number will be generated by QAD automatically. ID and database, these two fields, I can leave blank or optionally fill them in. These two fields allow to further group product change orders. If, for example, I need to link all orders related to the same project or site, I can use ID field. Let me put code 100 as an ID. This will be my reference to project code. It will be easier then to find all PCO orders related to the same project. Now I need to click on Upload button, and all BOM changes I prepared will be loaded into QAD as product change order. Load successful, and I see my PCO number has been assigned by QAD and returned to me. I can now go to PCO Summary tab and download all PCO orders I have in QAD. And since I was using ID to reference the project code, I can narrow down my selection and download only IDs that download only orders that match my ID code. And in this case, it's my project code. I can select PCO and view its details by clicking on View PCO button. So that's just standard QAD output for View PCO function. I can also check approval status, an implementation date. Our order does not show this information yet. That's because I have created it, but I haven't sent it to anyone. I haven't routed it for approval. And I can do that from here. So I can select the order and click on Edit PCO. PCO details will be automatically downloaded into corresponding tabs. So if my PCO is about BOM, I will get an BOM tab. If it's about routing, I will get all the details on routing tab, or if it's all together, then multiple tabs will be populated with corresponding data. Now, these are the changes I made, and now I need to route it for approval. I will put routing comments to implement by 01/2018, for example, and click on route for approval. Now if I route it successfully, now if I will go into PCO Summary tab and will download my orders, I will see, so this is the order we created. It's been routed, and according to the routing, it needs to be approved by engineering and purchasing. There is a sequence of approval. You can, depending on your setup, you can follow it or not, and you can see that now just order is waiting for waiting to be approved by someone from engineering. There is a set of users assigned to this group and someone from purchasing. Let me approve this PCO from engineering side just to show you how PCO status will change on the screen. It will take a moment. I'm just going into QAD to approve my PCO, and once I'm done, I will re-download. Just put some comments so you'll see how it's displayed on the PCO summary report. Done. So now let's get back to PCO summary, and you'll see that once I approved, so let's say that I'm someone from engineering, not the person who is doing this demo, and you see that there is approval date, and if I'll put any comments to it, then they will be visible here. Once PCO will go through the approval status and will be assigned implementation date and will be implemented, you will see all that information here. So if we have some data, test data in the system. If I will download all of them, as I told you, you'll see that there is a number of PCOs that have been implemented and closed. Your approval matrix can be very simple. It could be just one person to approve everything, or there might be more people involved in the process. In both cases, there will be a complete audit trail of all product changes in QAD. So that was the first case. Now let's assume that you need to introduce the whole new product. This will require not just changes to existing bill of materials, but completely new BOM, routings, and most likely new items. For simplification, I will assume that all components that I need are already defined or exist in QAD. So I will need to create a new item code only for my new finished product, and of course new BOM and routing for it. I will put everything into one PCO and we'll use PCO type new. So let's start with creation of item. We can choose PCO type and we select new. I'll put new product, and then I will use existing item as a template to my new item. I can get information for that existing item, and now I will use it to define my new item. So I know that I don't have access to all item fields from this product change control module. If you remember item maintenance menu, just a limited set of fields that allow to create item. I will assign my item type ENG, item status ENG. This status has transaction restrictions in place. So once PCC order is approved, inventory cost and planning details will need to be added to item master. And status changed from ENG to another one. All these new items can be easily identified by status ENG. And we'll put drawing. You don't need this, but I will probably want to assign some design group. Maybe item type. Okay, so I will create that item. Everything seems to be fine. Let's try to upload. Okay, and now I will just make some changes to PCO. Now if I will go to PCO summary, oh, and I forgot to put ID to my PCO, so my PCO has been created without ID. That's why it's very convenient to have ID, then I would be able to link everything to my project, but we'll just limit by PCO numbers so there will be less data on the screen. And this one. So this is my new PCO. I can look at it, and this is my type new product, and this is the item I will be adding. Now I will add to the same PCO bill of materials and routings. Let's start from bill of materials. Here. Download the PCO header so I don't need to retype it. And I can use, similar to the item number, I can use existing BOM as a template, or I can key in all information manually. We'll get BOM, and my new item is this one. Let's make some changes to the quantities, just as an example. And once everything is done, I will click on upload. And now I will go to routing and will do the same for the routing. So I can create it in different PCOs, but I just want to have everything linked to the same item to be in the same PCO. Let's download the PCO header. Now 88-100 routing will be used as a template. So I will just change item number. I can add, remove lines from here. Just click here for the demonstration process to use a template. Of course, probably your runtime will be different, or maybe operation, like workbench, things like that. I will leave it the same for now, and I will click on upload. My PCO is complete now. If I can, now I can go to Summary tab and will download and review PCO details. View PCO. This format is not very user-friendly, from like easy to read, but you can see all the data there, including routing and bonds. But I can also, and there is no information about who will be approving it yet because I haven't routed it. So I can click on Edit PCO, and my PCO details will be populated into corresponding tabs. So all information BOM, in PCO BOM related will be on BOM tab, routing on routing tab, and item on item tab. So I can route from any of those tabs because it's the same PCO. So I will first route for approval, but first we'll put comments by what date it needs to be implemented. QAD allows to assign an actual implementation date only PCO is approved, so it's good to know if people who will be implementing it are different than those who created, what is the date to be used. Okay, and now I will route for approval. Done, and we'll refresh my PCO summary, and now you can see that because I choose different PCO type, and my for new product PCO needs to be approved by engineering, purchasing, accounting, and executive. By setting my PCO routing slip this way, I want to make sure that everyone involved into new product rollout will be notified promptly and can complete their portion of the process on time. So, and here are all my parties involved. So that was the second example of how PCO workbench or product change orders in QAD can be used. Another product change related scenario can be mass routing update. Routing runtime allows to calculate required capacity, and sometimes need to be adjusted to reflect actual runtime and give more accurate capacity projection result. But any changes to this value in QAD will affect product cost, inventory cost, price margin, and therefore need to be coordinated with finance. This kind of control and coordination can be done in PCC Workbench. I can create a PCC for routing updates. I will use PCO type cost adjustments because I know that it will go to finance, and I need only finance to approve this. So I will use cost adjustments and put some type, assign some title and reason. Some reason. And now I can download from QAD routings that need to be updated one by one, or I can get all of them and delete all those that don't need to be modified. Just don't specify routing code, click on get routing, and all my routings are here. Because it's a test database, there's many of them, and it's pretty quickly. If you have a lot, you'll have probably like a couple of seconds up to a minute until all the data will be pulled into Excel. I can delete those lines that I don't want to be loaded, updated, and then I can make my changes. Let's say, and when everything is ready, I can click on Upload to create PCO. We have type, title. I can put ID to group it to link it to my project, as I mentioned before, and let's do upload. If PCC Workbench will detect any errors in my data, or QAD will detect any errors in my data, I will get an error message like this one, and I can locate where the error is by clicking on the Find Error button. Fix it. This time it's just deleted, and we'll repeat the upload attempt. Done, and I will route it for approval to initiate the change. Now, if I will go to PCO Summary tab, we'll download a list of my PCOs. Here is my order, and it needs to go through accounting, which is myself since I created it, and executive, which is just maybe my manager or someone else in finance, just to be aware of the cost impact, and I can look at the PCOs through QPO window, or if I need more details and more user-friendly layout, I can click on Edit PCO, and all the data, all the PCO details will be downloaded. So I will see all routings affected and standard cost involved. So that was 3 different scenarios that I demonstrated. I believe there is way more, but we don't have time to look at all of them today. And the goal was to show you how versatile this tool can be and how it can be used by different users. So you have seen different scenarios as I mentioned, and all of them can be used to empower your organization by giving you better control and greater visibility over product changes.
And upcoming webinars real quick. Here are our other first quarter webinars. In February, we have Juggle Customer Schedules Like a Champ, followed by Get Compliance Control of Your Customer Invoice Process. That'll be in March. We also have a couple of conferences. If anybody's attending, please be sure and stop by. We have the Midwest User Group Conference in March on Tuesday the 20th. 32Soft's Nancy McCrimmon will be joined by Don Lindsay and Judy Gardner to present Break the Pain Chain. That's a good one. We're also attending the West Coast User Group again, which will be on Thursday, April 5th in Santa Clara. The presentation details are currently in progress for that one. Registration is open to the webinars as well as the conferences, and links are always available at the bottom of all of our communications and on our website too, of course. That is all we have for today so far. Again, send any questions along if you have them. Meanwhile, we'll close out with why simplify? Many, many, many reasons, but this quote seems to sum it up nicely, because simplification of anything is always sensational. We'd like to thank everybody for taking the time today to join us, and I hope you'll join us again next month. Have a great day and keep warm.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.